Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us for this press conference. Gael Garcia Bernal, it's an honor, a pleasure to have you here with us today. Welcome. You are in Geneva at the invitation of the International Film Festival and Forum on Human Rights, and also the International Organization Against Torture and the Comisión Mexicana de Defensa y Promoción de los Derechos Humanos. Exactly. You have just participated in the side event at the UN. You are going to be with us tonight at the International Film Festival and Forum on Human Rights, and tomorrow back to the UN. What will be your message to the different audiences?
Oof. Well, I mean, yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for, I feel very proud to be invited first and foremost and by the film festival, which is perhaps one of the best film festivals there is, and because it has a very specific and very beautiful reason for existing, which is to make visible this question that goes on in film, which is a very difficult question to do, how to denounce, how to portray, how to talk about human rights through film. It is not easy. Definitely, sometimes I tell you, I mean, from my experience, sometimes doing a documentary is, for example, if you wanted to do a documentary about the Formula One, it's easier to do a race, to organize a Formula One race than to do the documentary. It is very complicated to do a documentary about certain issues. It is sometimes much more plausible to be if you want to change something, for example, through a documentary, if you want to be part of a community through a documentary, it is easier to just build an organization that fits into that community. Making documentaries is an act of love, and sometimes they have a wonderful resonance, and sometimes they disappear, but they stay. They stay forever for people to be able to look at them. But I went into the film side of things, which is, it's good to talk about that if you want to talk later about that. But I feel very, very, very delighted, proud, and interested in being here, and in articulating an open call, an open petition, let's say, from everyone in Mexico to ask this question in the forum where these questions are asked. What can we do to change things? What can we do to stop this impunity from existing? Really, it is no joke if I tell you that we deal with that day to day. In every conversation, something of that comes into play. Fear comes into play. We have to take that into account. Working in films, for example, there's places in Mexico where you cannot just go and work. Like, it's very dangerous to go. Tamaulipas, for example, is a state that has long time been complicated to be there, to work there, to shoot a film there. And if shooting a film is an exercise of freedom, well, just imagine how difficult it is for other endeavors like journalism or like social services or medicine or even schools. It is incredibly complicated to live a full life with this level of impunity, with this violence that just has become normal, and that's perhaps our biggest failure, to have normalized this level of violence. So this is what I'm going to talk about. This is the message. This is the 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 moment that we all need to reflect on these issues, because I mean, it might sound, to some people it might sound exaggerated, but I think to all of you who are very present here and interested in what all the discussions that go on here in this building that's just around here at the corner, you know that violence, at least, I mean, violence on all levels, verbal violence, is just starting to grow. You know, starting to be more accepted, starting to be more normal. On a high level of politics, for example, violence is normal now. It is part of the game, as if there were rules about that. So it falls into the worldwide picture. What we're talking about here. I feel I mean, not only honored, but also in awe and astonished by accompanying stories and people that have suffered this violence in firsthand. And I guess our hope is that hopefully this works, that this creates something, that this changes something, because we really need the eyes put on one of the places that humanity is fighting, the fight for humanity, which is Mexico right now. We really need those eyes, because elections are coming, the stakes are pretty high. This is the moment, and this is the moment to overturn things. And I don't want to go into my 40s thinking that that I'm gonna have systematic violence, systematic impunity in my country, because there's many things that we've already achieved for me to feel that I have to put down the towel, you know.
And what will you ask concretely tomorrow to the Human Rights Council? A special mechanism, or what kind of request do you have for them?
Well, through their means, through their creativity, through their different positions, through their different institutions and different means of some of them slower, some of them faster, to interact strongly with what's happening in Mexico right now, to interact with Mexican society, to interact with victims, to interact with the Mexican institutions, with governmental institutions, and to put pressure definitely on Mexico that I mean, it is a very, perhaps it is a very standard practice throughout the world, but Mexico is a specialist. When the eyes of the world say and mention and portray or signal something that's wrong in Mexico, that's the only moment that that politicians do something in Mexico, because it really is. I mean, we can downsize, or we can just kind of give an absurd explanation to why this impunity exists. Well, to keep the status quo, definitely. There is no bigger, I mean, there is no other explanation, really. And there's many ways of battling it. We all know them. I think it, for example, the drug problem, the criminalization of drugs is a situation that needs a worldwide stance, you know, for example, and therefore this will add to that discussion that's going on, and amongst many others. I mean, amongst the protection of journalists throughout the world, the protection of you know, this reflective process that journalism is going through right now as well, between what is true, what is not, you know, and I mean, it's been a constant all throughout, but right now it's at a very fervorous moment. I think, I mean, we're talking about all the issues by talking about impunity. So precisely, I'm going to ask them to use their means and all they know and all they can, and also tell them that we are very open to receive that, to engage with that and to support also from within Mexico, which is a very we've become, but starting to becoming even a stronger society, with a very strong point of view.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for questions. Agencia F. Le micro, s'il te plaît.
Marta Hurtado, Agencia F. One feature of impunity that you talk about is justice, that people doesn't get justice. On 2016, you asked for, you joined a campaign asking change for the office of the prosecutor. Has it happened? If not, what are you asking? What do you think the office should do and represent to finish or try to reduce impunity in your country?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, this is one of the it's it's a very acute point that is right now very how do you say, like the card is played and it's within the electoral process. Fortunately, many people in Mexico manifested, many institutions, many civil organizations organized to demand a better law system in Mexico, and the changes that were made were minimal but structurally important to begin this whole process, which is gonna take, we know, a long time. But at the same time, it gave us the handle, in a way, to be able to ask this from our government, and no longer support or tolerate, rather, the ongoing system that they've been implementing. How there is no autonomous prosecutor, there is no fiscal, perdón, no, I don't know the terms in English for that, but no sé cómo se dice. Sí, prosecutor, no? Sí, prosecutor, exacto. So we're seeing it throughout in different other parts of Latin America, for example, even in places where apparently there is much more, places like Guatemala, for example, where there is an autonomous body, no, and in Mexico there isn't, and so we're not just talking about to create an autonomous entity per se, is how to create it, how to make it even better, than what already exists in other countries. So it is a pivotal discussion point in the elections, and hopefully it'll manifest through some of the people that are running for presidency in Mexico. But I think that is something that is definitely going on, and we will support that strongly, because it is one of the axes of impunity. I mean, it is one of the axes of to stop corruption, to have a truthful, confiable legal system in Mexico. Trustful, reliable. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Mi inglés está pésimo. Perdón. Perdón.
No.
En francés.
Otras preguntas? Next question, please. Next question? Yes? Reforma?
Well, in English, okay.
As you wish.
It's okay.
You can repeat it in Spanish if you want.
Yeah, well, I would love to speak my own language. But okay, in respect of the people here. The High Commissioner, when he went to Mexico, High Commissioner for Human Rights, he asked for to the government of Mexico to implement an advisory committee on impunity. something like they did in Guatemala, something like that. So what do you think about that? It's nothing done since 2015 that the High Commissioner went there to Mexico, and he asked for this advisory committee, maybe with the international experts. What is your opinion on that? Is it urgent?
Yeah, maybe that is also just to to finish that. There is a hashtag which is called now like a collective called Por una Fiscalía que Sirva. Oh, you know it. Okay. Oh. Ah, okay, okay. Ya te había dicho, ¿no? Ah, bueno, perfecto. Okay. So yes, mira. Okay. It's got many organizations and many people working, no, on that, and they're definitely gonna make big noise. And this leads to this question also, like there's been many movements, there's been many kind of things that have happened when external and international organizations have mentioned something in Mexico, but you know, I mean, maybe because the unnameable guy from the north of Mexico opened the lid on you know, just opened the lid on what the United States has been throughout with Latin America and with other countries in the world. Well, there is an open critique now to anyone that comes from international organizations like the United Nations, you know, to come and interfere and to say something about the country as if the United Nations was like I don't know, like an observer from another country coming to say, well, this yes, this no, it isn't, you know. And definitely that unnameable person has been the one that has kind of channeled something that was already at place. So maybe this adds up to the question as well at the beginning, like what would I ask the tomorrow is to also use this opportunity to bring back that legitimacy or that power that that they taught us, you know, when we were kids in school, that the United Nations had. I mean, maybe power is not the right word, but to use that structure, that reason of being, you know, because before it was actually quite exciting and emotional to see the United Nations flag going into the Olympic Games. And when I was a kid, I remember it was a moment of like, you could be in that team, no? It was like, and now I don't think many kids even know what the United Nations is really. I mean, it sounds scary, but I really don't think. So I don't know. It's kind of, oh my God, it's falling into the Dante place, no? When we talk about all this, like it starts to get scary, right? Maybe not credibility, but it's becoming like, I mean, well, you guys know better than I do, but I mean, how terrible it was, no? When Bush completely broke the law, no? The international law, and now Bush is supposed to be like a good guy compared to this guy, you know? So it's like, I mean, unbelievable. So, yes, I think it would be a great opportunity for the United Nations to definitely be part of this process, because it will be because I mean it's something that I was saying before, but we're not talking only about Mexico. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about like something that is going on not only in Mexico, in many parts of the world as well, and maybe not in the same level, but at the moment where we can reinvent the process, we can reinvent the way that things can be done and can be changed, and also the urgent need, because the level of violence is so much that we have such a debt with all the victims. We have such a you know, and I think this, we have a lost generation in that sense, you know. I mean, just talking about disappeared people since 2006 till now. I mean, there is more disappeared people from Mexico, and I'm just talking from Mexico because I'm not even including Central Americans, you know, but just from Mexico. I mean, close or more than the people that were disappeared during the dirty war in Argentina, you know, which is a very important, you know, it is a emblematic, systematic violence that went on there, and we're close to that number, and we still, it doesn't fall into a priority. Fortunately, there's many. I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, but fortunately, there's many cases right now, which add up, and right now they're really confronting. I mean, a lot of things are happening right now. Even today, with Ayotzinapa, with what happened in. I mean, there's things happening every day. You know, new investigations, new things going on, and that's something that's gonna hopefully help, you know, all these other cases to come to light. But I mean, but let's not forget about those. How many there were? 72 migrants in San Fernando, for example. You know, from Central America, 72. Yeah, which is one of the. I mean, one of the cases that also opened up the lid to show that that this was happening all the time in that area. To numbers that one cannot even imagine. No? So yes, this would be a great opportunity.
Another question? If not, I would like to ask you a question, Gael. This is your second time at the International Film Festival and Forum on Human Rights. Last time you came almost incognito, because you wanted to exchange with some refugees and migrants here in Geneva. You are very interested in this question of migration and refugees. Is it still the case? And why, in fact, are you so interested in this subject?
Well, I think the ultimate answer to that is very direct and very elemental. It's because I'm a migrant myself, and I'm a migrant that I'm able to travel and to be in different parts, to grow as a human being, to experience and to make use of this right that we all have, which is to live a full life, to be better, to experience new things, to exchange, to also take my country or take whatever my country is within me, to take it around and then go back to the beehive in a way, and also it is an issue that, I mean, it is perhaps the reason why we still humans exist on Earth, because we migrated, you know? Because we changed places, we were moving all throughout, and I mean, again, it is another pathway or another level of systematic violence worldwide. The way that migrants are treated, the way that that people are forced to migrate as well. The complete destruction of someone's, an easy way to say it is identity, but the complete destruction of someone's past, present, of course, ways of enjoying, ways of being, ways of experiencing life is a violent aspect itself. And right now I think it's 1% of the world or 2% of the world that has been forced to migrate. It is a big number. It is actually quite a big number, have been forced to migrate, and I feel the stories there to be told are quite I don't know, important, because we can all reflect on them. So yes, it is a very important issue still for me, and I've done a few films about that issue, and I think I will always keep on doing something like that. I will always do something that has to do with this concept of actuar como extranjero, like acting like a stranger. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
No,
Gael.
thank you.
We look forward to welcoming you tonight at the festival for an exchange with the audience and also with other guests. Thank you very much. And now we will go to one-on-one interview. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.